Welcome to this message of encouragement. Today I wanted to talk about trans women are offensive to every woman. But before I get started, I always like to ask those of you who are watching to please pray for the nation of Israel. Please lift up our leaders, those that are in positions of authority. Please remember those that are sick, those that are facing surgery, those that have lost a loved one, that are in broken relationships. There are so many needs out there in the world. People need to be lifted up in prayer because prayer is powerful and prayer brings about that great change needed. Everybody keeps screaming, we need change, we need change. Prayer brings about that great change. So I wanted to talk today about trans women being offensive to every woman. I mean, why would any man want to be a woman? We have a lot of men, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. On the weekends, they run and they want to play dress up as a woman and play pretend being a woman. Well, if a man wants to be a woman, he needs to be a woman 24/7 all the time, and he needs to endure what women and young girls actually have to go through. So let's look at some of these things about why trans women are offensive to other women. A man can never partake in the punishment that God has placed upon woman in Genesis chapter 3 verse 16, where God says to the woman, after the woman caused the fall of mankind, God says, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be for thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Yeah, like I said, that's crazy. Why would some young gentleman want to, play pretend to be a woman? This is, the number one reason. Number two, what man possibly, believes that he could ever endure the menstrual cycle that women and young girls have to face? I mean, lower stomach pains that are so bad it keeps you doubled over. Some women even need pain medication. That stomach pain is so bad. It causes lower back aches, nausea, and at times the bleeding can be so bad that the young girl or the young woman can't even go to work or to school. It is that bad. And you're not going to find a young gentleman that, yes, this is what I want, this is what I want. I mean, that's just insanity if this is something that a young gentleman believes that he wants. And of course, let's not forget about the premenstrual syndrome symptoms, which just really plays havoc not only on a woman's body, but also on her emotions as well as her thinking, trying to remember things and keep up with things. It causes hormonal imbalances within a woman. And women are weaker than men. They're not as strong as men. They're not as physically as strong as men. Women can't run as fast, and they don't have the other athletic abilities that men do. And women still, to this day, they receive lower wages when doing the exact same job, working side by side with a man. You will often still find, and that's going on today, that a man is paid a higher wage, $2 or $3 more. I just had a best friend, she was really angry. She called me up one day. The position that she does, they just brought in a new guy. She'd been with her company 15 years. They just brought in a new 20-year-old. And she just happens to be involved with the type of work that she does. She could access the payroll. And look, and they brought him in making $3 more than she had been making. And she brought it to the attention of the HR people, the human resources people, and they said, oh, it was a clerical error, it was an oversight. No, it wasn't an oversight. They deliberately did that because that's the way it still is in today's society. They want to pay the men more than the women because they feel like the men are more valuable than the women. Women are rarely promoted to higher positions. Women are expected to keep the house, raise the kids, work a job, and take care of everything else in between. Women are treated like second-class citizens. Women are treated as though they're not as smart as a man. Fathers always are wanting sons, and the bad thing about that, mothers always seem to favor the sons over the daughters. So it's not a good situation there. And young girls are always made to clean the house and cook, while occasionally the young boy is assigned to take out the trash or mow the yard. Young girls are not permitted to stay out as late as the boys. Young girls are normally expected to be home at 10 o'clock, while the young boys are given permission to stay out to midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And if you look in the Bible in John chapter 8, it says the adulterous woman was caught in the very act of adultery, and she was dragged before Jesus with the intentions of stoning her. But they didn't bother to bring the man that was involved. They just dragged the woman that was caught in the adultery, and they said in the very act they dragged her before Jesus, but they didn't bother to bring the man. The man gets the pat on the back, and of course the woman, they want to stone her for her indiscretion or for her sin. And even some religious practices do include the mistreatment, the deliberate mistreatment of women. They force their women to keep their heads covered. They want the women to keep their head covered because the woman's beauty arouses the man, and since he can't control himself, he punishes the woman and says, you cover yourself, you cover your head, you cover your beauty. I can't control myself, so I'll put it off. You cover yourself. And not only that, but women in other religious practices aren't allowed, to speak unless they've been given permission by their husbands. And even in today's society, when a woman goes to a doctor's office, the woman, I can say the more majority of the times are misdiagnosed, because the doctors just want to say, oh, you've just got stress, you've got anxiety. And a lot of women have died from cancer in the later stages because the doctors refused to run any tests and just told the woman it was just stress and anxiety. I've known several to be like that. And like I said, then by the time that their illness was in a later stage and the doctor decided to take action instead of the stress, anxiety thing, like I said, the woman, was actually dying. And so, that mistreatment of women is still going on today. So why would any trans woman, want to run around here and play, pretend, dress up like a woman? I want to be a woman. I want to be just like y'all. I mean, he doesn't know what he's doing. Anybody that thinks like that is insane. I'll look you in your face and tell you, you are insane if you believe that you want to be a woman. That's the last thing you want to be as a woman. We suffer through hardship. We know hardship, and we suffer through hardship. Yes, things are hard on a man too. They have to be the breadwinners of the family, so to speak, and the head of the household. I know, I don't want to offend any guys. I know there's hardships on guys as well. But I'm just saying, overall, women through the years have really had to endure a lot of mistreatment, a lot of prejudice, and it's still even going on to this day. And I just, like I said, I think it's crazy, a man wanting to play dress up and want to play pretend that he's a woman, or go to a bar on a Friday or Saturday night and play pretend he's a woman on Friday or Saturday night. Well, wow, I wished I could just be a woman on Friday or Saturday night and endure these hardships only on Friday and Saturday night. That would be great, but it doesn't work that way. We are women 24/7. Through all of our lives, no matter what we identify with, it doesn't change anything. And like I said, men shouldn't be wanting to be trans women. That's just wrong. That's against God as well. And like I said, that's just pure insanity. And it is an insult to all the other women in the world. It's just an insult, and just. It's just like I say, it's an insult, and it's offensive. to the women. Like I say, it really, angers me, especially when a, man, gets it in his mind he wants to come into, and use the women's restroom, and they want to start to try to get other dumb men to start to pass laws to let them come into the women's restroom where there are, women and children and young girls. I mean, that's insanity. That is just insanity. I don't know any other thing else to call it. I hope this message, like I said, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just trying to say, why a man should not, even get the thought in his head that he wants to be a woman. God bless. Stay safe.